From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
You want to go where to buy a new refrigerator? Steve's A to Z Appliance in Cottonwood? In Cottonwood? Just a 10-minute drive. And they'll save us money. New and used, honest, reliable, factory-trained repair service and parts, and they'll save us money. And dispose of this thing? We gotta make the short drive to Steve's A to Z. Thanks, son.
Steve's A to Z Appliance, front and main streets in Cottonwood. Drive a little, save a lot.
Happy hump day to you all. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Krueger, and it looks like we are going to be kind of peaking out that heat wave I've been talking about. Not really a heat wave, but a warming trend. It's going to peak today, but then temperatures start to slowly drop after that. Still looking at a chance for showers Friday, Saturday, although looking at the latest forecast model data, we're going to be backing off on that potential as far as not seeing a ton of rainfall out of this. We do expect a warm start to our fall, which is on Monday, before we see another dip in our temperatures and beginning to see signs of a cooler and wetter pattern for next week. So yeah, we got a few things to talk about in our deeper dive. But before we get to that, let's take a look at our Krueger's Quickcast for your Wednesday, September 17th. So getting the kids off to school this morning, you're getting off to work. We are going to be looking at temperatures mid-60s in the valley, mainly in the 50s for the higher elevations and for the coast. There may still be a little bit of patchy fog on the coast, but I do expect to see some clearing here as we get into around midday. Now, in the meantime, we're also looking at that moisture down to the south. You can see that. That is remnants from Tropical Storm Mario, and that is heading our way. Just how much it will impact us, well, we'll get into that here a little bit later. But for today, as mentioned, we're going to see some of that fog really dissipating along the coast today. By midday, I expect mainly sunny skies for the coast, but looks like that marine layer may return once again this afternoon and evening, not to mention going through tonight as well. Otherwise, the rest of us are going to be looking at sunny skies and, yeah, the peak of that warming trend, getting close to 100 degrees for some of us in the valley, especially to the north, but around 98 for Redding, 97 Cottonwood and Chico. Looking at temperatures 80s and 90s for the higher elevations and inland. It looks like temperatures in the upper 60s, maybe even some low 70s once again. Taking a look at your 7-day forecast for the valley. Now, I've just put the word chance in there. Here's the thing. Don't cancel any outdoor plans. It's most likely going to remain fairly dry for the valley. There could be a stray shower come Friday, maybe even linger on into Saturday. But really the main story I want to show you here is temperatures are dropping after today before they start to go back up, but then back down again. And look at Tuesday of next week. Yeah, that cooler and wetter pattern moving in. For the coast, I'm going to keep you dry through the weekend, but by next Tuesday, a chance for showers. That's also the case inland. For Trinity County, also kind of backing down on that potential for rain, but still a chance nonetheless for Friday and Saturday. Better chances coming in for Tuesday of next week. And for Siskiyou County, Modoc County, and the Eastern Mountains, I think the better chances would be to the Eastern Mountains like Susanville, slimmer chances to the north into Alturas and places like Mount Shasta City, but still a chance and even an off chance for an isolated thunderstorm as well. But we just don't really have a whole lot of energy and a whole much of a disturbance to really squeeze out a lot of that moisture. I think it's going to be Tuesday that we'll see a better chance for some of that rainfall. All right, that's a look at your Krueger's Quickcast. Let's go ahead and take a look at the latest on what's going on with the fires here, sponsored by Garmin's Tractor Service. And really not a whole lot new to report. You can see the root fire is at 729 acres, still at 97% containment. No new reports, by the way, since September 11th. Here you can see the Dillon fire up to about 79 acres, 79 containment that is here, 79% containment. The latest number coming in on acreage is 929. We're actually watching this number drop because as they begin to assess it, they're getting a better handle on the situation here. All right, now we're going to go ahead and take you out to the Blue fire. This is at 30% containment at just over 3,500 acres. That's as of 9/16/11/22. AM. No, that should say PM. Typo. You got to love typos, don't you? All right, let's go ahead and take a look now. Bottom line, we're just, again, not seeing a ton of change here. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the log fire here as of 9/16. That's yesterday, 11:23 a.m., 1,100 acres at 71% containment. And now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the cedar fire. This is the last time we're reporting on this, right? Because as of yesterday afternoon, is reported at 100% containment. So that's always great news to hear. Taking a look at the winds here, not that big of a deal here for today or even tomorrow morning. But by tomorrow afternoon, I do expect a little bit of that southerly flow of winds that may help to increase that fire weather risk just a little bit here. And going into your Friday, looks like we may see a bit of a breeze again for Friday afternoon. But overall today, we're looking at mainly low to even barely getting into that moderate category as far as the fire weather risk is concerned. You can see as we go into Thursday, though, we are seeing a bit more of those oranges. That's getting us into that moderate to high category. So just something to be aware of as those winds pick up. Let's be a little extra cautious and help prevent any new fires from starting. By the way, if you have the free Weather NorCal app, which I hope you do, right? It's a great app here for Northern California for your iPhone and your Android. You can share your photos. So a sunrise, sunset, a beautiful landscape shot, maybe a pet. Always looking at sharing those photos and sharing them with everybody. All right, let's take a look at that satellite image here as we go into our deeper dive forecast now. And again, a couple of things to point out. First of all, still have that ridge of high pressure. Haven't seen much in the way of cloud cover for really the western United States here over the last few days. But what we're starting to see happen and what we're going to be watching here is this. This is remnants from a tropical storm, Mario. Now, yesterday, as expected, it did weaken into a disturbance or a tropical depression, if you will, and we're seeing the remnants, the moisture associated with that storm system as it's kind of moving on in. Cloudy skies, some rain out towards Baja California, but it's working its way into Southern California today and eventually into Northern California. So this is the moisture content. Here you can see all the moisture. You see how very, I mean, we don't see a lot of blues working their way into even Northern California, and that's not going to happen. We're not going to see all of this moisture work in. It's going to basically kind of spread out here a little bit here. But as we go into Thursday, Friday, you see what happens. This is going to be working its way northward. So by tomorrow, you can see most of that moisture into Friday as well is over Southern California. But again, you see we're not looking at those blues, but a lot of that moisture is working its way up northward. And you can see some of it does work its way into even parts of Northern California. That's enough to maybe squeeze out a shower or maybe even an isolated thunderstorm. Now, Saturday, I think the chances will start to diminish. But really, overall, we just don't see a very big lifting mechanism for this moisture to really work with here. But in the meantime, there's more moisture that'll be working its way up and then getting caught up in the upper level flow, and we've got more moisture coming in by early next week. This could be another round of some rain. All right, so let's take a look at that in the form of just kind of predicted rainfall here, right? So there you can see, as we go into Friday, you see how it really dissipates. I mean, tomorrow, I think we've got better chances for rain for Southern California, but then as this kind of works its way northward, it begins to lose some of its energy. But on top of that, we just don't have a very, I mentioned a little bit earlier, a lifting mechanism. What I mean by that is, in order for us to see that instability is rising air, okay? So that's typically associated with an area of low pressure or a cold front, for example, right? But we don't have much of a lifting mechanism to get that air unstable, and that also helps us squeeze out the moisture. So if we don't have that lifting mechanism, it's really hard to squeeze that moisture out. But we may see enough convection, daytime heating, that could be some of that lifting mechanism, but that's not enough to really squeeze out most of that moisture. So maybe a chance for a stray shower, maybe even an off chance for a thunderstorm on Friday, and that would especially be in the mountains, but we can't rule out some of that activity working its way into the valley as well. This model keeps it completely dry for Saturday and Sunday. However, the European forecast model still has some leftover moisture that could bring a chance for a shower or two for some parts of Northern California as well on Saturday. So I'm going to keep that chance for most of Northern California for Friday, for Saturday, but at this point, don't cancel any outdoor plans. Then we go into Tuesday, and there's that moisture coming in from the south, that next trough of low pressure helping to squeeze out that moisture. There's the lifting mechanism I was talking about. We've got the low pressure moving in, and that's what's going to bring us that chance for rain by next Tuesday. And it looks like a cooler and wetter pattern moving through next week, so certainly will be a welcome sight, especially as we transition officially into fall on Monday. Roller coaster ride with those temperatures. They're dropping Friday, Saturday, going back up. And wouldn't you know, the first day of fall is going to feel more like summer, but after that, yeah, we dip back down into more fall-like temperatures for Tuesday through Friday of next week. And as I mentioned, maybe even some wet weather off and on through next week as well. Taking a look at our lake levels here, no big surprises, just some minor drops. We're still over 100% of that historical average. And we take a look at the wave heights. Yeah, they're going to be increasing here later this evening into tonight. And that's why the National Weather Service has issued a small craft advisory this evening through tonight. And that may even go into your Thursday as well. North winds at 10 to 15 knots, waves from the northwest at 4 feet at 5 seconds, and from the west at 3 feet at about 10 seconds. All right, so here's your neighborhood forecast, sponsored in part by Dignity Health. You can see these temperatures here for your Wednesday will be in the low to mid 90s, although Ruth about 88, 83 for Mad River. So you notice I don't have any raindrops coming from the clouds. I just want you to be aware that there's a chance there could be a stray sprinkle, a light shower, and an off chance for a thunderstorm. For the North Coast, sponsored by Dignity Health, I'm going to keep you dry through the weekend. I'm going to keep you dry on Monday as well, but by Tuesday, you've got that chance for rain. That's also going to be the case for the inland areas. Gasquet today, about 87, 91 for Orleans, and 95 for Willow Creek. Your Dignity Health Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast, same situation. I think by the time that moisture works its way northward, it's going to have a hard time squeezing out that moisture, but we could see a stray shower Friday, Saturday, maybe even an off chance for a thunderstorm before we see maybe some better chances coming in for Tuesday of next week. There's a look at your Modoc County neighborhood forecast. Again, that chance, nothing significant is expected, although there could still be that stray shower or thunderstorm. Eastern Mountains, I think your chances may be a little bit better for some of that shower activity for Friday, Saturday, maybe an off chance for a thunderstorm, and then maybe some more wet weather coming in by Tuesday of next week. Your Dignity Health Valley neighborhood forecast, temperatures in the mainly upper 90s for today, 97 degrees for Los Molinos, 97 for Corning. And again, you know, the Valley, your chances are going to be even slimmer for any of that rainfall, but I just can't rule that out. I don't want you to be surprised should you be driving around and you get a passing sprinkle or a light shower. Taking a look at your Chico 7-day forecast, temperatures are really the bigger story here is the roller coaster ride with the temperatures, right? Because we're warming up today, we're dropping back down, and then by Saturday, Sunday, Monday, another warming trend peaking out on Monday, which is the first day of fall, but then another drop in our temperatures next Tuesday with that chance for some rain. We take you up to the north, 98 degrees for Redding and 99 for Palo Cedro. Could some of us touch 100 degrees? Boy, I tell you what, it's going to be few and far between if that happens, and it will be very brief. But mainly looking at those temperatures in the upper 90s for those daytime highs. And taking a look at your 7-day forecast for Redding, looks like those temperatures will be in the mid-80s by Friday with that slight chance for a shower or two on Friday, Saturday. And then looks like temperatures slowly increasing for the first day of fall, the high of 96, and back down to the upper 80s by Tuesday with that chance for rain. All right, that's your morning update. I'll be back again at noon with the latest forecast. Have a great morning.
At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too. Because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.